Go ahead, Nikki.
All right, Greg, after the match, Derek told me that he felt this team wasn't defending as a unit. It was more of individuals making decisions for themselves. I want to get your thoughts on what you make of this team's defensive posture as a whole right now.
Yeah, I think, tonight it was a game where we were just too far apart from each other defensively. It was, they're very direct in their approach. You can see just center backs dropping balls in behind our back line to guys that are running off of us. You saw that a lot in the transition and early in the game, which softens up the back line. And then our front guys are trying to organize getting pressure to the ball because they're trying to make it clear for the back group. So we talked about our methods in doing so and trying to make things as clear for the guys as possible. And I feel like we just got separated from each other. And then when it was time to start to move and orchestrate our pressure on the ball, it was a little bit disconnected, which is kind of the individuality of it. We weren't set and then moving together as a group and closing off and supporting each other. And I just felt like we were a step behind it and just too far apart to help each other. So there was a lot of these individual duels throughout the course of the game that we didn't win many of them. In fairness, we tried to match up in the midfield at one point just to try to make things a little bit clearer, and I think that helped us for a little while to make things clearer. But when we were then unable to get the timing right to step and press the ball, I just felt like they were we had some gaps. All that being said, part of it is not an easy place to play in terms of just the collective moving. We didn't come here with the idea to try to press and get ourselves. We just played a few days ago in a challenging game, and then you come and play at altitude, and we've got some guys who are trying to get their fitness back to full, and so we tried to manage through it. We're missing a couple of players, so we just got disconnected as a group. And then I felt like our movement and how we weren't very dynamic on the night. Things were just a little slow and disjointed, and they were able to play through us and win some of those duels. I thought they were quicker than us in midfield, shiftier a little bit in midfield. And I thought Jossie was a handful of just holding up balls and laying them off to people. We didn't deal with that great. So again, I don't think it's necessarily that guys want to. I just think collectively we just got separated from each other. Like I said, the front group was trying to make things clear and get pressure, and the back group is trying to manage the depth because of the balls that were being put under. So I feel like we got separated tonight, and the timing of our movement and it lacked sort of aggressiveness. So again, we just get separated.
Third straight match, third straight loss. You've had more shots than your opponent. Right now, what's missing from the execution in the final third?
Yeah. I mean, confidence for one. I think. When I see Kevin gets himself into some amazing positions, and there's just a hesitation, a deceleration to really get the shot off, and guys are catching him from behind. He's too fast to get caught from behind, but I don't see it. I need him to have more confidence in the moment to accelerate through the ball and put it into the back of the net. So I feel like, in some of these games when you're on the road, there's moments when you have chances that we need to put some of these things away to give ourselves a boost and something to build on, especially in challenging moments. And we had some good looks for that, especially in the first half, to try to give us something to build on and cement momentum again. So there's a few things inside of that. There's also, I think sometimes sometimes some guys get a little bit lost inside of the game in terms of responsibilities and roles. I don't think it's an intention. I think they're trying to add something to the game, but then they get caught ball watching, and then they lose an assignment as the game goes on, and then there's vulnerabilities off of that. Instead of, okay, I'm not involved in the play, I have a new responsibility that I need to take care of, especially when you're dealing with a team that is transitioning out as fast as they do and are just hitting balls in behind us. So there's a few things inside of that, but in terms of the goals, there were certainly some opportunities in the first half, I felt, where we need to come away with something just to build off of in this game.
Thanks, Coach. Safe travels.
Thanks.
Next we'll go to Josh.
Hey, Greg, thanks for talking to us. Appreciate it. You guys have given up the first goal now in 9 of the last 12 games, something you guys weren't doing at the beginning of the year. Is this a regression from this team, certainly on the defensive side, giving up a whole bunch more goals?
A little bit. I think there's some things to this. I think I think we've been a little bit light in our midfield for the last, 4 to 5 weeks for different reasons. And I think it's important for our group that we win the middle of the field, that we win the midfield. And I feel like that's something that, as we get Mark back, as we get Kljestan in, as we get Sacha back healthier, as we get guys back to where they need to be, because we've had little things going on with guys even inside of it. Even Ryan's had issues he's been trying to deal with physically over the last few games. But I just feel like we need to have this moment to collectively get everybody back together, and we got to get back to winning the midfield, being connected, moving at the same speed again. I feel like with just different guys in different spots right now that we're just getting a little bit disconnected at times, and some of that is exposing us, and some of that is there's also just some individual sort of mistakes where I think guys, in talking with our guys, I want everybody to be confident, be sure of themselves, to play in these moments. I feel like some of our mistakes are just sometimes either a passiveness or just a lack of, in the moment where we're just maybe a little bit shell-shocked or lacking a little confidence in a moment. So it's just getting those pieces back together, because we've made a few mistakes, and I think guys are feeling the weight of making those mistakes individually.
Yeah, with Derek's after the game sort of, calling a bunch of individuals, do you feel like from your side, you're preparing this team to be successful when they go out on the field? And is it just those individual mistakes, those little individual plays that are sort of sidelining that?
Yeah, I think so. Look, I'm not perfect. So there's some times when I feel like, maybe we get things a little bit off. But as I said to the group before, if we're connected, we're moving together, and we see something different because tactically the opposition comes out with something different than we expected. We have to work through it, and we can have the time to adapt inside the game. But if we're disconnected and we're too far apart and we're not moving at the right speeds and those kinds of things for various reasons, then there's more than we're trying to adapt tactically to try to deal with the fact that we're not all moving at the same speed and we're a little bit disconnected. So we're managing a different issue. So, but tactically, I think we've in some of these games and many of these games, I think we've been set up pretty good. But when we've got to also take our chances, and we've also got to deal with things. But I'm no means, and I say this everywhere, I'm not perfect at getting us set up. And oppositions will come out sometimes with different setups than you expected, and maybe different lineups and different personnel and different ideas. But today we came into this game very clear that they were going to look for balls direct in behind our back line. We wanted our fullbacks to manage their wingers because of the pace of their wingers. And the first goal, we lose track of Lewis, and the ball's hit in behind us, and next thing you know, we're on the wrong side of it. So there's things inside of that too where we have to manage the moment from situation to situation and evolve a little bit as a group inside of the game once we read what the opposition is doing.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Next we'll go to Alex.
Hi, Greg. The team's currently on a 3-game losing streak. Last season, you guys won on a run of 9 games without getting a victory. Are you getting similar kind of vibes from the team now as you guys are piling up games right now and dealing with the dog days of summer?
No, I don't have similar vibes. Obviously, the group is frustrated. They're competitors and they're frustrated. Some of the guys are, individually apologizing for different things, the performances, mistakes, things like that. But we all are making, it's all collectively got to get to the same page, and which I don't think we're far of. We have very good moments. We have tonight. I don't think we were as connected, and I think we were a little disjointed as a group more collectively tonight than we have been in recent times. Today, I felt like. For various reasons that we just were disconnected and too far apart and exposed because of it. But in other games, I don't feel like that's necessarily been an issue. I think we've had some situations where again we get ourselves on the wrong side of a game because we give up a penalty kick and we give up something right off a kickoff, things like of that nature that they give you the wrong set. But I get the frustration because they're competitors. I don't want anybody apologizing for mistakes because we all make mistakes. I just want us all just to continue to work together, which is where we're at. And I'm super I've said it to everybody. I've said it to the group. I really believe in this group. When we can get everybody back together and on the same page physically and everybody back connected, which will be this week, we get Javi back, we get Marky back, we get Gaston arrived today, which is exciting for us. We got Douglas is getting his fitness level up. I felt like he's not quite there to start in altitude and give us a larger stretch, so he didn't start today, but I feel like his fitness is getting better. I feel like once everybody's more on the same page and from that perspective and back together, the group is going to be very confident when they look at each other and the possibilities inside of that I'm not too concerned about.
Thank you. Safe travels.
Yep. Thanks.
And last question goes to Scott.
Hey, Greg. When Derek was talking to Nikki, he said that he thought that the other defenders might have a different agenda. Have you seen anything like that?
No, I think, and this is what I alluded to, and I'm not trying to speak for Derek, but I do think there's sometimes in games when just our each guy, especially when we're separated and a little disconnected, where everybody is just kind of trying to survive in their own space on the field. I felt like that was a little bit of things tonight, where Jules had a tough matchup with Lewis, who is a difficult runner, especially when there's no pressure on the ball. And I feel like Jules, for example, is trying to do his job, and he's trying to do it inside the context of dealing with, his guy and his situation. I don't know if these are what it is, but for me, there's more of a scenario inside of this where the group was they were too far apart to help each other, and that's not our strength, is when we're so far apart. And I feel like guys then got a little bit isolated and a little bit exposed. At times Sacha was, closing out people with not support around him. Not the easiest thing for Sacha to do is defend guys who can spin, and he's in loads of space trying to deal with guys. So it's some of that is, and I'm not saying that he's referring to any of these guys. I'm just telling you just situations that I see inside of the game that maybe can bring some frustration on that side of things. So I just felt like, again, we were disconnected, which made it very difficult from a collective defending part on the collective defending side. We just weren't close enough to help each other at times today.
And what was your thinking on Raheem playing higher up with Chase behind him? And how do you feel it worked out? What were the pluses? What were the minuses?
Yeah, again, with the way they play so direct, and sometimes they play somewhere between a 3-4-3, and sometimes they'll play in a 4-3-3. They'll push their 8 and their 10 really high in positions and really overload your back line with 5 guys up against the back line. But then they also have guys in the back who are very good at hitting long balls, which can really spread you out. So the idea with Raheem was, at times if we felt like we needed to just slow things down, because being in Colorado, it's not easy to press for extended periods of time, that Raheem could just drop and we could go into a 5 and we could close up some of those gaps that they want to play through or run through. And at times I felt like that was useful for us at a point, but I also felt like then we had a little bit of a difficult time organizing pressure on the ball, so we were dealing with things a little bit lower. So it was something that we looked at if we just needed to control things a little bit, be a little closer together in our back line to manage some of those different scenarios. Okay.
With Josh. Go ahead, Josh.
Hey, Sacha, thanks for talking to us.
Recording in progress.
When you look at this team, and certainly coming off of 3 losses now and allowing the first goal in 9 of the last 12 games, do you feel like there's a regression starting here that maybe is not trending in the direction that you want it to go?
Well, statistically, yes. Giving up the goals and giving up first goal in 9 of our last 12 is obviously not a recipe for success. I think we have a very good record when we score the first goal, and so that should be a priority for us. I think we're all disappointed with the performance tonight, because tonight's performance is I don't think a real representation of who we are as a team. That was, I think, a pretty bad performance. We can all put our hands up and say that, me first and foremost. So, yeah, we got some work to do. I think we've got to use these next couple of days off to come back and then get ready and really challenge each other and build each other up, because I feel like we're just lacking a little bit of confidence right now. And so I hope over the next week we can use the week leading up to the Atlanta game to build up our confidence and try to really challenge each other and lift each other up.
Derek said in his post game that he feels like Greg is giving you guys the right ideas to go out there and do stuff, and that there's individuals who have their own agendas. Do you feel like that's the case? Do you feel like not everybody's on the same game plan?
I think that is maybe a little taken out of context. Not that guys have their own agenda. I think he just means that there are moments where guys are not doing exactly what is needed in the moment. And so, I guess you'd have to talk to Derek a little bit more about the true meaning of his comment, but I don't think that's the case. I just think that we all need to be on the same page when we are doing something tactically. And so that's most important in MLS, is that all 11 guys on the field are committed to the exact same goal with the exact same ideas. And if one guy takes a break or takes a moment off, then the dominoes start to fall and then the game becomes difficult. So I think it's all about us committing to each other and committing to the common goal. And we've got to do that by sticking together and like I said, trying to build the confidence up in our group again.
Thanks, Sacha. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Nikki, do you have one?
Yeah, following up on building up that confidence, Sacha, I guess you as a leader and as the voice on this team, how do you make sure, there's that tipping point, right? Where you don't get too down and lose the belief in the locker room, but you also know you can be better. So how do you cultivate that throughout this next week?
It's going to take all of us, but for me personally, I'm a pretty optimistic guy. I like our group. I enjoy the work that we put in, and for me, it's on the training ground. So when I come into training, I'll take my days off, but you better believe when I show up on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever we're back in, that I come with a positive attitude and I come to work. So I hope that will be infectious. I hope that the guys will follow my lead and that of the other guys. I think when we get, hopefully getting Cheech and Markey back in with the group, just having a positive outlook on things. Like when I look at the table, we've been pretty fortunate that over the last few weeks, other teams around us are not racking up the points, and so we're still in the thick of things. So that's a positive for me. So when I come to training this week, it's about having fun. I think it's about challenging each other, and it's about training hard. So I wouldn't be surprised if training was a little bit more intense this week, and I always love when it's more intense because I think it brings the best out of everybody.
All right, thanks, Sacha. Safe travels.
Thank you.
Scott?
Hey, Sacha, what you just said there, that, we've heard that several times during this stretch where you guys have a few games where you're giving up early goals, you're falling behind, giving up 2 goals, boom, boom. And then we'll see a good game in the middle of it, and then it's back to the same thing. And I'm wondering, it sounds great, and it's certainly the way that you want it to go, but we don't see it succeeding to this point. Is there a kind of, and when you get on the field early on in these games, is there a feeling of inevitability because you guys are giving up so many early goals and giving up 2 in a row? We saw that again tonight. You guys were fortunate that the second one didn't count, but we're seeing the same patterns game after game.
Yeah, you never want to give up 2 goals in quick succession. So I think, fortunately, the second one was negated by an offside call. But that's, I think, just the reactions need to be better. The ability to play forward into their half after giving up a goal, and then like I said earlier about confidence. But the second part of that is consistency. When we can find the ability to start playing consistent games at a consistent level where it's not like a roller coaster. It's not a win and then a loss and then a win and then a loss. We really have to start building momentum. That's what wins in this league, is the momentum that you get when you start winning games. And so that comes with confidence and consistency. So hopefully we get on a run here. Like I said, this week of training will be very important for us.
When you have players who are not 100%, which has been the case really much of the season, In what ways does that play with the confidence of this team?
Well, it is what it is. Every team in MLS deals with injuries or suspensions and all that stuff. That's why we have deep rosters. We have to rely on everybody, and sometimes we need more people to step up. I think it's important that I've said this all season. I've said this from last year. Decky and Chicharito cannot be the only two players that are scoring goals for us. That when we have other players in the attack have chances to bury a goal and be clinical, we have to have a little bit more of that cutthroat to us. And I think we're lacking that right now. And that goes along with the confidence. So if we can raise up that confidence, hopefully we're starting to get more goals from more guys in the attack.
Thank you, Sacha.
And we'll close it out with Rob.
Hey, Sacha, how are you? Thanks for the question. With a little more than half the season gone, how do you feel about the team's progress overall? Are you satisfied with where you guys are? And, what do you feel like you guys did really well today?
Sorry, what was the last part of that question?
What do you feel like you guys did well today?
I don't think we did much well tonight at all. I think, like I said earlier, that I'd be the first one to raise my hand. I was excited to get a start tonight, and I didn't play well. And so deservedly was taken out at halftime, and I told that the guys. But I don't think anyone can question my effort that I give the group, and I promise them that next time I play, I'm going to give my 100% as well, and I expect everybody else to do the same. No, I'm not happy with where we are at right now. I think we can be much better. I believe in our group very much. I'm very optimistic about our group. I think we have a great group of players that we just need to raise the confidence and raise the consistency level of our group. And if we do, I really believe that we are a championship caliber team. We just need to show it. And it takes all of us. It takes all of us stepping up. It takes all of us raising their hands and being accountable in front of the group. And so the more that we can do that, the more successful we will be. But I'm very optimistic about our team. Might sound crazy with where we are right now and the results in the past 5 games, but that's me and that's what I believe in.